Talofa lava, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. I'm Susanna Suisuiki. Coming up,
There will certainly not be a great deal of empathy there, and that obviously is a significant concern to Pacific countries.
what Trump's presidency means for the Pacific. Also, PNG police work to uncover criminal gang activity. And later on,
They need to do projects from their country instead of trying to do a project in New Zealand where they find it difficult.
from the military to the classroom, a lecturer has been recognised for his unique teaching approach. A geopolitical expert has weighed in on what a Trump presidency will mean for the Pacific region, saying it could likely do more harm than good. So far, the Prime Minister of Fiji, Tonga and Solomon Islands have congratulated Donald Trump on his win, as Kamala Harris conceded defeat. Alicia Foon spoke to Massey University senior lecturer at the Centre for Defence and Security Studies, Anna Poles.
Trump has called climate change a hoax and the greatest scam. So we will likely see Trump winding back US commitments, both international commitments through the Paris Agreement, but also domestic commitments too, such as targeting climate measures like the Inflation Reduction Act, which aims to reduce US emissions by 40% by 2030, as well as other national climate measures that the Biden administration really sought to cement during his term. With respect to the Pacific, it's unlikely in that case that Trump will have a great deal of empathy for the Pacific Islands and for what the Pacific Islands refer to as the existential threat that they face, climate change. So there will certainly not be a great deal of empathy there, and that obviously is a significant concern to Pacific countries. I think we also have to consider too that Trump's foreign policy is transactional. It's America first, very much so, and we see this, for instance, through the statements that he's made with respect to a really aggressive protectionist economic agenda, which means that the US could potentially re-engage in a trade war with China, which started under his first presidency, if he does go ahead, as he states he will, place tariffs of at least 60% on Chinese imports. So that will certainly lead to much deeper competition with China. So what we will likely see is greater unpredictability, which will contribute to greater insecurity, both regionally and globally. Certainly, Trump's support for Israel, for instance, will align with some Pacific leaders who also strongly support Israel's position in the Middle East. And so that will may be a point of reference for the Pacific. But essentially, Pacific leaders will need to work out what Trump's priorities and interests are and how those align with their own national interests in a very transactional way.
What are some of the benefits of a Trump presidency?
Well, certainly during Trump's first term as president, he did elevate the Pacific to the National Security Council. So we had Oceania for the first time seat at the table at the National Security Council. So that was obviously an effort to really elevate the Pacific in Washington, but we certainly did not see the degree of engagement that we have seen throughout the Biden administration. For all the criticisms that they have not moved swiftly enough on key areas, there certainly has been an effort to re-engage and to formulate strategy and policy towards the Pacific. In terms of benefits, I think it's possibly too early to tell what benefits the region will necessarily see, particularly given how acute the climate threat is to the region, and we certainly do not want to see a Trump presidency undermining international efforts with respect to climate change. We may see that some of Trump's relationships are beneficial to the Pacific. For instance, his close relationship with Elon Musk, for example, could be potentially beneficial in terms of adding some depth to the telecommunications sector in the region. Of course, Elon Musk was invited to this year's Pacific Islands Foreign Leaders meeting in Tonga, and Musk's SpaceX and Starlink provided emergency satellite internet terminals to Tonga following the February 2022 eruption and tsunami. And Starlink has been making inroads in the region. It's been given an operation license in Solomons and Cook Islands. It's operating in Fiji and Papua New Guinea, and Samoa is seeking to approve operation license as well. So that could potentially be a point of entry for the Trump administration. But what we're likely to see is the Pacific very much being regarded as a battleground to be won or lost with respect to strategic competition in the region. And we'll likely see that competition expanding even more so, particularly if a trade war is reignited and becomes worse. And of course, the other thing for us to keep in mind too is that this is a different global environment to when Trump was last president with respect to global conflict and insecurity. Hopefully, we'll get a sense over the sort of the first 100 days of the Trump presidency of what his priorities are going to be like, particularly with respect to the region. But again, I think it's too early to tell at this point. What we do know, though, is that he is deeply ambivalent about the US's traditional alliances and traditional partnerships, and highly critical of any country who he sees as free riding on the United States. So that gives us some indication of the level of insecurity that many partners of the United States are going to be feeling going into a second Trump presidency.
Police in Papua New Guinea's second biggest city, Lae, are working to uncover a criminal gang that's methodically attacking and seizing goods from exporters. The criminals are reportedly wearing police uniforms when they undertake the robberies. In addition, their activities have led to claims of their trading in human body parts, a common claim made in PNG, but one police have said there is no basis to. Don Wiseman spoke with our PNG correspondent Scott Whitey, who lives in Lae.
Over the recent months, the last 3 months to be exact, we've had a series of crimes targeting businesses and people who are exporting large amounts of cargo. And there was an instance where a cocoa trader had his whole stash of bags of cocoa taken away by people who dressed up as police. And just 2 days ago, there was another instance where a truck headed for the Highlands with goods for businesses in the Highlands was stopped by a group of men dressed in police uniform. And they took over the truck and kidnapped the driver as well. They tied him up and brought him to Lae. The driver of the gang was eventually caught by the public. He was beaten. And within that video, there was talk of him being part of a gang that was harvesting organs. So that rumor has gone viral on Facebook as well, fueling a new wave of talk about human body part smugglers.
Well, human body part smuggling and stories associated with Papua New Guinea go back many years, don't they? There's never been any truth in them. But how did the two things get linked? Yeah, so a few weeks ago, there was a alleged text message out of the Solomon Islands, because the language there appeared to be from the Solomon Islands. Now, they were talking about harvesting body parts. Now, that went viral as well, not just in the Solomon Islands, but also extended to Papua New Guinea. There's a heightened sense of fear and anxiety around people being kidnapped, children being kidnapped. So a lot of people are sharing these videos over and over again. Now, these rumors are linked to the
gang activity, because when they captured the gang driver, he had with him the driver who had been, taken against his will. He had been tied up and in the vehicle. So that video of the gang driver being attacked, being beaten by members of the public has already also gone viral with allegations that he was part of this organ trading gang. That's created a new round of viral material online, and it's been really, really difficult to contain by police.
The use of police uniforms, that's not unique either in Papua New Guinea, but how do they get access to such things?
We spoke to the provincial police commander for Morobe province yesterday. Now, he's saying that it's not difficult to get police uniforms if somebody has a fake police ID. There are companies that produce police uniforms in Port Moresby that can, provided you have the appropriate credentials, sell you police uniforms. So police are investigating that part of that incident that happened 2 days ago. So it's a whole set of investigations that's happening. There hasn't been really a statement yet from the Commissioner for Police in Port Moresby. So that's something that we're looking forward to.
Former Samoa Prime Minister Tuilaipa Sailele Malele has expressed his appreciation to New Zealand's Green Party MP Te Anau Toyono for revisiting the Restoring Citizenship, Removed by Citizenship Western Samoa Act 1982 bill. However, Tuilaipa raised concerns about the bill's conditions. The bill passed its second reading unanimously in Parliament on October 24th. Tuilaipa spoke with Grace Fevaai.
On behalf of my own delegation of our Human Rights Protection Party, I want to give our big thank you, and I would like to offer my very special appreciation to Honorable Teniu. I worry is if those who are still alive are also considered, then I think in matters of citizenship, the citizen and also members and also the offsprings are considered together. In any country's laws relating to citizenship, the father, the mother always go together with their children. You just cannot offer a citizenship to the parents without recognizing the children who are supposed to be together with the parents and giving them support if they are in their old age. You know, Samoa is a country with its cultural values centered around a family. When the parents, when the children are born, the children are expected to take care of their old age parents. That is completely different from the individualistic view of a country without a culture. They have no culture of extended family system. And therefore we see those countries with families, parents are neglected, and the children just take off taking care of themselves and the immediate family, children, and neglecting their parents. So to me, there is still something short of the on the bill. If only those who are living are given the clearance ignoring their offsprings.
A Fijian Tongan lecturer has received the Le Moana Moa Award for his efforts in supporting the next generation of Pacific learners and leaders. Born in Suva, Jone Tawakitini was a former military-turned-mechanic before becoming a lecturer at Unitec in Auckland for 16 years. Alicia Foon spoke with Jone Tawakitini about his unique teaching approach, where he encourages students to embrace their cultural identity, and his hopes for Pacific students on their path to higher education.
I saw the need to look after our Pacifica students. Because when I walk into the classroom, as soon as I introduce myself that I'm joining from Fiji, the Pacifica students, they tend to they tend to feel at home. And then I started having these weekly meetings with them, just to catch up with them and to if they have problems, and we work together as a team. And also part of that, some of our Pacifica students, or most of them, when it comes to their final year industry project, I encourage them to select a topic or an issue that directly involves their country. Right? They need to do projects from their country instead of trying to do a project in New Zealand where they find it difficult because they know their country better than in New Zealand. Those are some of the things that contributed to my application with Le Moana. And also the other thing that I did was that in 2019, being selected or nominated as a Pacifica champion for the school for applied technology and the trade, electrical pre-trade, I developed an initiative known as the Bite-Size Talanoa, which happens every Wednesday between 12 to 1 during a lunch hour. So we have a quick lunch, and then we go into groups and look at their problems and try and work with them. And even though it was sometimes most of the times it's either they bring their lunch or just buy lunch for our students, and we do a bite-sized talanoa. One of the things that we've come up, we noticed with bite-sized talanoa for the past 4 years, those students that attend the bite-sized talanoa, they have a high success rate compared to the students that they do not attend. They have a lower success pass rate or success rate. And those are some of the contributing factors that I believe that contributed to being awarded with the Le Moana Moa Award.
Yeah, it sounds like your approach and the cultural understanding has really helped these students. What is the makeup of your classes?
The Pacific student is not it's a mix of all global. We have students from Asia, students from sometimes we have students from America, and local students from here, local residents, right? Pakeha and Pacific students, and I do have it's almost every year we have Pacific students on scholarships, right, coming directly from their countries into New Zealand to do their degree before they go back and serve their countries.
What would you say about the way that we teach in New Zealand, and considering the 90% completion rates in your students' courses over the past 2 years? It sounds like your teaching methods are all about kind of embracing cultural heritage and promoting that kind of talanoa session. What would you say an area of improvement could be for New Zealand teachers?
For me, it's knowing your students. You need to know your students from day one. And as you know, that most of our Pacifica students, the biggest problem is we call it in Fijian the mandua, where they are shy, where they do not open up. But once you start talking to them, once you start creating that connection, then they tend to open up. They tend to, okay, they feel at home. That's the biggest thing that that we need to understand about our students, is how they can feel. They feel at home. Okay, I can talk to him, right? So either it's whether schoolwork or even some of the personal issues that they have, right? So we can mentor them or advise them on things that they that will help them to make sure that they continue with their studies. And that is especially with our Pacifica students. And not only that, apart from Pacifica students, I also, with our international students, I know it's, they've left their home country, it's a new place and new culture, right? Even different teaching and learning styles. So I also try to embrace those and then also help our international students.
What would you like your legacy to be? It sounds like you've got a lot left in you.
Yeah, for me, I'd really like to see that more Pacifica students enrolled or engage in higher education, especially the degree programs, right? Because stats already showed that most of the Pacifica the success rate, or they are on the lower end of the tertiary, right, in the certificates and diplomas. And they need to be encouraged to do the degree program and to move, to go higher in terms of academic achievements.
Do you think we need to be adopting more cultural approaches to teaching earlier on in our education system?
Yes, because one of the things that I've noticed and also experienced is, trying to bridge that gap. I try to see that, sometimes student comes in and then they're not well versed or really prepared for the degree program. So we try to have that that bridging the gap. At the same time, we also look at our cultural protocols. Right, different islands in the Pacific, we have different protocols, but to make sure that that we look at the cultural protocols and follow that, and also embrace it while on their learning journey. I believe that also helps the students to be successful in their studies.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For all episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. We're also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. From myself and the RNZ Pacific team, tō whā soifua.